Welcome back. Oh, it is another episode of Leveling Up with Brigham Blackham. I'm so excited. Today, I get to be your success strategist and introduce you to one of my mentors, Jack Zufelt. He is an amazing speaker. He's been doing this a couple decades, and he understands what it takes to not just have success, but the true building blocks, the DNA of speaker success. Now, why is this important for you? If you are able to really understand the building blocks, the foundational elements of what it takes to be a great speaker, you can earn more, you can have your message mean something, and you can start to create transformative experiences from stage, whether that's a digital stage, a physical stage, conversations, and make your message mean something. I'm so excited to have him on today, and we're going to have just a blast. Jack, how you doing today?
Hi, good morning. Glad to
Good
be here.
morning. Absolutely. I know you have such a wide variety of experience. You wrote the book, The DNA of Success, which I like your poster behind you. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about what success means to you and how you got into this speaker training profession. How did you do that?
Well, success to me is doing what you like to do and succeeding at it. And when you fail, you just go, oh, darn, that hurt. But you get up and go again because you like where you're going. Or you like, it's like if you have a flat tire in your car, you don't just throw the car away. You say, dang it, I got a flat tire. You fix the tire. And you don't curse the car. You fix the tire and go some more. Well, that happens in life too. We're going through life and we stumble and fall. We get hurt. We get divorced. We go out of business. We lose our shirt. All kinds of bad things can happen. But if you're doing what you love to do, which is ultimately should be enjoying your life, you just pick up and go again and you go, ow, that hurt. It's kind of like a football player. I love it when somebody gets hurt on a professional football field, they carry them off the field. And the first thing they says to the doctors, when can I get back in the game?
Yeah.
And we need to have that kind of attitude. So success to me is doing what you love to do and having the right mindset to pick yourself up when you fail, because you will, everybody does, and go some more and never give up.
Yeah, never giving up. That is so beautiful.
What caused me to get involved with this? It was simply this. I had a mentor, kind of like in my age, from you to me. He was able to be my dad too, and he was really, really rich, and I was really, really poor. And he was in my church. So I asked him one time, Mr. Harris, how did you become so successful? Would you tell me what you did? And he said, sure, come on over. And I went over to his office one day and he taught me what he did, which was all Greek to me. I had no idea that world even existed, let alone how to do it. And I said, well, what he did was he helped people make good investments. And one of his clients, and he was a big shot, one of his clients was Madam Chiang Kai-shek, who ran China. Wow. And so here I am sitting in this big shot's office, and he's teaching me how to do what he did, which was raise capital from investors and buy businesses or buy properties, buy stuff, invest in things. And he taught me how to do that. So I copied what he said to do. And this is why I'm so convinced that mentors matter. He was my mentor, and I did exactly what he said to do. And over the next 30 years, I raised $23 million from investors and bought all kinds of businesses and all kinds of property, real estate, because that's what he did. Mm-hmm. So as a result of that, I was quite successful. And then I started getting people to ask me to come and talk to their group. Would you come and tell us how to be successful like you were? And I'm going, I do not know how to answer that. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a speech. I wasn't a speaker. I was a money raiser and investment. I was an entrepreneur. I was an investment advisor. So I had to figure out what to say. And the first thing that came to me was how to use the power within. I call it the conquering force. And that was my presentation, how to use it. And people asked me, would you come and tell our audience about that? I said, sure. Then they'd ask, well, how much do you charge? I said, charge? This is not a world I even knew about. I said, Brigham, I didn't know you could charge for speaking. So, okay, that's how ignorant I was about this industry. So I said, okay, I started looking for mentors in the speaking industry. And my main mentor was a guy named Zig Ziglar. He was old enough to be my dad. and Norman Vincent Peale. He was 92 when he gave his last presentation, about, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. Anyway, I looked at their background and what they did and copied them. One of the things Zig Ziglar was so good at, and I saw how you went like this when you heard his name.
Yep.
You like him too.
I love him. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Well, one of the things I liked about him so much is he told stories. He had the most interesting stories to help make points. And I said, well, I'm going to do that too. So I copied him. And that's why you're on a really good path, Brigham, with what you're doing with speakers. You're a good example to them too. And they need to get mentors like me and you and copy us.
Yes.
Which is one of the things I'm doing now. Thank you for letting me say this on your show. But
you're welcome.
A lot of people are saying to me, well, Jack, speakers, people who want to be speakers. And so I put together a plan, a program to help them do what I did. Basically, a 20-step plan to get where I am. And some people do it and some people don't, because that's when you find out whether they were serious or not. Because when I tell them what you got to do what I did, sometimes they go like this, oh. Well, I don't want to do that, or I can't do that. And so, okay, bye-bye. But those who really do want to do it, like you, they come on board and they have me mentor them.
That's beautiful.
So I'm offering that to all the people you show this to. Get a hold of your friend Brigham and tell him you want to talk to me about how I could be your mentor too, along with what Brigham knows. Because Brigham, without what you do, what I do, let me change that to potty note. What you do makes what I do as a speaker work even better.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring something to the table that didn't exist 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago. And because of what you bring to the table, whoever is a speaker, if I teach them how to package themselves properly as a speaker, and then they book you or use you to help them, success is it's immediate. It's only a fact. It's not will it happen, it's how fast will it happen.
I love that. Now, when I was thinking about some of the building blocks, this DNA of speaker success, while we were collaborating on this, thinking about it, you have this framework that I feel like is so essential for speakers. You call it the PPM. And with real estate, I think of private placement memorandum, but that's not what it is. What is the PPM framework? And let's dive into that as a topic, because we want to talk about this the whole rest of the podcast and really give people some ways that they can equip themselves as speakers to be as effective as possible in the business of speaking. So what is PPM?
Packaging, positioning, and marketing.
Yes.
It's like a three-legged stool. If one of those three legs is not there, the stool will fall over. And so you can have a great package, which means how your package, what you look like, all about you. If that's great, but nobody knows you exist because you can't market, it doesn't matter how good you look or how good you are. And if you don't position yourself right, you will not be hired. For example, if somebody asks me, what is the speaking fee that you charge? Well, let me just show you this backup. If somebody charges $1,500 for a keynote fee, they're immediately positioned as somebody that's good, but $1,500 good. And they ask me, what is my fee? And I say $15,000. They immediately put me up here. Well, I must be better. I may not be a better speaker than that guy that can charge $1,500, but because I charge $15,000, I must be better. That's positioning. So if you position yourself as an authority, as an expert, and one of the things that helps you position yourself is a book. And I wrote a best-selling book, and I got this big sign that proves it. And now here's the book. And having a book, a lot of people can have a book, but if you don't make it a bestseller, it's not the same as a bestseller. That's positioning. And so I teach people how to create a book that's a bestseller. Having a book is important. It's crucial. Without a book, you're still a nobody. With a book, you're somebody almost.
You're somebody almost. That's a great distinction.
Now, if the bestseller, you're there.
So positioning, as far as getting your content out there, people need to see you as the expert, not just an expert. How do you position yourself in a way that lets people see you and all of your experiences, all your credibility as the authority, not just an authority?
Well, I am not the only authority. There's a lot of good people out there that are authorities. I'm just one of them, and I'm better than them because I make it so much easier and I don't cost as much. So it's like, which is better, Ferrari or Lamborghini? This is a Lamborghini. So if I hold a Ferrari up next to it, which one's better? They both cost a lot, and they'll both sell you why it's better. Then you have to pick one you like. So I say, everybody, I'm a Lamborghini as a speaker, teacher, trainer. And if you want to become a Lamborghini like I did, I can show you how to do it. It'll take 60 to maybe 90 days for you to learn everything I know. And then you go market it. And so PPM, packaging, positioning, marketing. Packaging means your website, your one sheet. The one sheet looks like this. It's just a single sheet of paper. One side of it sells what you talk about, and the other side sells you. So what it says right there, it's all about Jack. So when you send this to somebody who's a meeting planner, that's your market, people who hire or book speakers, they need to see everything they can about you. And so we reduce it down to one sheet. One side of that 8.5 by 11 sheet is all about your message and how wonderful it is and how it'll change lives, bless people, etc. The other side is who the heck are you? And why should they listen to you? So we package you in such a way that makes you look really good without stretching the truth at all. We will never lie or stretch the truth. We tell it like it is. And I've helped people. I had one speaker. This is my only real success, huge success. He became a 7-figure speaker. One person I trained. All the others are in 6 figures, except for those who quit. There are some who quit. And they found out, even though they hired me and paid me to do it, to mentor them, they found out it was too hard. It was, even though they spent the money, they just lost interest. And so that's something out of everyone's control. A lot of people followed Jesus Christ, but they didn't go all the way.
Yeah.
Some people quit along the way, and that's just life. And I'm like that. I'll teach you how to become a highly successful speaker, teacher, trainer too. And if you do what I tell you to do, the way I tell you to do it, you too will become a Lamborghini as a speaker, or a black belt in karate. 5th degree, you become a Bruce Lee. So packaging is your website, your one sheet, and everything about you that we can create, including your business cards. Some people are saying business cards today aren't used much, and that's baloney. Everywhere I go, people give me business cards. And so I create business cards. I help people design these. Even though I'm not a designer, certainly not a web designer, I can show people what needs to look like. So when somebody sees your material, your package, they go like this: wow. We want to create the wow factor on everything they see about you, so they don't ever question whether you got a good message or you're worth listening to. That's your packaging.
That's beautiful.
Somebody once says you can't sell a book. You can sell a book by its cover. Sure, because if the cover looks terrible, you're not going to buy it. Then you got to position yourself as an authority, and who are you to be listened to? And so you got to really brag a little bit about who you are and how you got there, and all the failures that you overcame. In fact, some of the most highly successful people on this planet, I have a whole list of like 15 of them. I'm talking about billionaires and multimillionaires, and these people are now, mostly are gone now, but they show how many times they failed, like 50 times, 40 times, 100 times. I just saw one recently where a guy, if the guy who created Starbucks had quit, it wouldn't exist. It took him 247 times before he succeeded at Starbucks. It wouldn't exist if he had quit at 240.
Yeah.
Never give up. And then marketing. That's one of the most important parts of a three-legged stool. If you don't market yourself properly so people find out and go to your website or get your one sheet from you, it doesn't matter how good those are. You could have one of the best websites in the world, but nobody visiting it. If nobody's going there, you won't get booked. And if you don't have a book that's a bestseller, they're going to see you as somebody that's really good, but not there yet. So I found that out. I said, well, I think I'll get 2 books then. So if 1 book's good, 2 books is better. It increases your package. It positions you as a somebody. Having a book is really good. Having a bestseller is even better. That's positioning. Marketing, you got to put your stuff together in such a way that it creates the wow factor. Then who do you market to? They're called meeting planners. And I read just recently, about a year ago, that there's about 4,000 meetings somewhere in the United States every day.
Wow. So opportunity is definitely out there.
It's not, does the opportunity exist? It's how do they find out you exist?
Mhm.
And why should they even talk to you? And that's what I do, is help people figure out, speakers, I call them speaker wannabes. I help them take their speaking desire to reality in 90 days or so by doing
That's excellent.
packaging, positioning, and marketing. Oh, hey, you spelled positioning wrong. Ah,
Oh no.
oh no, we can't do that. It's the little things that create funness too. Like that one,
Right.
and people are going to remember, oh yeah, he misspelled. They're going to remember that part probably as much as anything else about this interview.
Isn't that funny? The little tiny mistakes that you make. It's all good. I
And
think,
it's a good example because you're really successful and so am I, and you still can't spell.
yeah.
At least that word today.
At least that word today. Yep. Positioning. That's a really important word. Definitely got to get that one fixed.
And another example, another thing that people need to know is that when you set a fee of $15,000, probably 80% of the companies that or organizations that hire a speaker won't have that money in their budget. So what do you do when you run across somebody who says, oh, we'd really, and this happened to me a lot, we'd really like to have you, Mr. Zufelt, but we don't have $15,000 in our budget.
Like,
My response to that was, well, what is your budget for a speaker? And I've heard everything you can imagine. I remember one person said, well, ours is a nonprofit organization, so we only have $100 for a speaker. I said, oh, nonprofit? What do you do? And they told me what they do, and it really touched me. And I said, I'll tell you what, you just pay for my expenses to get there, and I'll speak for free because I want to help you with your service, what you're doing. And she started crying. I said, I will do whatever I can to help you. We'll still pay you the $100. Said, I don't want any of your money. Just make sure I don't have to pay to get there. In other words, they covered my expenses to show up and put me in a hotel for a couple of nights and feed me.
mm-hmm.
And another extreme was a guy who had said, not extreme example, was he's doing a big event in Hawaii. There were 1,400 people supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
His budget was $7,500 for a speaker. And he said, I guess we can't use you, Mr. Zufelt, because we don't have that in our budget. And I said, well, I'll be willing to speak for that lesser fee on 3 conditions. And if you meet those 3 conditions, then I'll come and speak for $7,500. And 100% of the time you say that to some meeting planner, they will say, well, what are those conditions? Because they really want me. They already want you. They just can't afford you. So if somebody says, I got a Lamborghini, and you really want the Lamborghini, but you can't afford it, and somebody says, let me show you how you can afford it, you will be interested because you want the Lamborghini. And I get it. What do I have to do? And I tell them the 3 things they have to do is, number 1, you have to write a strongly worded letter, a recommendation letter, a testimonial letter of my presentation so that I can use it to convince other meeting planners that I'm a good speaker.
Mm.
And 100% of the time, Brigham, they will accept all 3. So they will always say, oh, I'll be glad to write the letter. And I said, well, I even give you the language you need to put in the letter so it's strong. And the second condition is that you have to allow me to be able to market my books and CDs and my audio programs, my newsletter from stage to your organization so I can make some money there. And I promise you I won't give a 30-minute commercial. I'll give a 5-minute commercial about my material that they should buy and give them a link to go buy it. 100% of the time they say, oh, okay, that's not a problem. Mm-hmm. When I reassure them we're not going to do a 30-minute commercial because they want me to speak for an hour. They don't want 30 minutes as a sales pitch. And the third condition is that within 20 days of the time that I speak for you, you have to write a letter to 10 other meeting planners like you and tell them about me. And then give me the list of those 10 meeting planners. Meeting planners know each other. They're part of an organization. There are several organizations with meeting planners. And if one meeting planner tells 10 other meeting planners that I was good, and he gives me that list, and I contact those other 10 meeting planners, they are going to want to talk to me. The sale's half done. They just have to make sure that my message is the kind of message they're looking for at that event.
Yeah.
And can they afford me? So PPM, packaging, positioning, and marketing. Without those three things there, I don't care how good your speech is or how good your message is, you'll affect a few people and do a little bit, but you won't be able to make a lot of money and maybe not even go full time.
Packaging, positioning, and marketing. This seems like it's so simple, and yet this is that stumbling block that so many of us as speaker wannabes or speakers that are in the beginning parts of our career are struggling with. So when you are in the beginning and you want to just get your message out there, you do need to follow all this packaging, positioning, and marketing. What do you do at the beginning when you're like, hey, I'm at credibility like 5 out of 100 or credibility 20 out of 100? You've got some background, but not on massive stages. What do you do to get those people to build more credibility, to earn more stage time, and to get their message out there?
Most of the time, it's all in their packaging. If they have a message that they're strongly or they're committed to and they believe will bless people's lives, if they have that, then I can help them package that properly and build them in the eyes of the reader of that material about them. I can help them look really good without lying at all. So when they say, I want to be a speaker, but how do I become somebody that's known? I say, well, the only way you can do that is get out there. And you need to have a book. If you have a book, then they're going to say to you like this. This was said to me many times. One guy, I remember really vividly, said, Jack, I'm so impressed with the stuff you sent me. I wonder why I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. I said, well, I don't know. Maybe you're not as involved as you think you are.
Maybe you're not as involved as you think you are. That's so
I
good.
don't have a clue why you don't know who I am. Maybe you need to plug in more things. I mean, in other words, I was really strong and I treated him nicely, but I said, the real reason you haven't heard of me is because you aren't out there, maybe. But also one of the reasons is just that I was new. But I never said that.
That's a great way to position yourself as still an authority, but you can be new and have them respond to you in such a great way.
Yeah,
I have
uncomfortable hiring a new person, a new speaker, so you don't want to use that term ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm new. I just started, so I want you to pay me big money to come and speak to your group, because the minute you say I'm new, I'm just starting, they don't want you.
Right. They want to see who has experience, who is willing to package their experience in a way that makes so that they can make an impact and it actually is valuable for the audience.
Yeah.
Now there's two different elements to DNA that I wanted to bring up. I thought this was kind of playful. DNA could be thought of as dreams that need alignment.
Oh.
So talk to me about how you help people get in alignment. We talked about some of those main parts, but how do you get their dreams in alignment so that they can actually supercharge that Lamborghini like you brought up and get to where they want to go?
Well, you say supercharge that Lamborghini, and I'm saying to the world, your viewing audience, you already have everything it takes. It's like you already are Lamborghini. You just don't know how to drive it. You drive around in first gear. This Lamborghini has 6 gears. For real, they do. And you never get out of first gear. Or you stay in neutral a lot, or you stay in your garage a lot. So I'm going to show you how to take the Lamborghini that you already are as a human being with a message that matters to you, you want to take to the world. I'll show you how to package yourself in such a way that people see you as a Lamborghini and they will want to know what you have to say.
That's beautiful.
When you say dreams need alignment, I have a joke about dreams, because I say, you all have a dream to do this, but some of your dreams are not very good. You ever heard of bad dreams? Yeah, well, there are good dreams, but how many times does a dream stay a dream and not become reality? You say need alignment, and I say, well, how about reality? Having a dream become a speaker is one thing, but turning it into reality is another thing. So I think you should change that. DNA equals, I like DNA though. Dreams need alignment, so DNA needs alignment / reality.
/ reality. I like that. Okay.
Because if
we can add it.
If you get in the back seat of a Lamborghinis don't have back seat, but if you get in the passenger side of this car, you're not going to be able to drive it. If you don't have the garage, reality says you're not going to be able to drive it. I don't care how good it is. By the way, a friend of mine started the Lamborghini. He was one of my clients. He hired me for many, many years. Mm-hmm. He started the Lamborghini Club because he owns 11 of them. He's really rich. And he took me for a drive in one that looked just exactly like this, yellow, etc. And he getting up on the freeway, he punched it, the on ramp to the freeway. And yeah, that's exactly what it was like. I was back in my seat and I said, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And he was in first gear doing 80 miles an hour. I
Wow.
didn't know you could do that. So I had my eyes opened about how powerful a Lamborghini is. I was limited on what they could do. And so I'm telling to the world, especially speakers,
Hmm.
you are limited only by your lack of knowledge. You do not know what you do not know.
Mm.
And I'm the guy that's going to teach you how to take your message and you package you properly and show you how to get out to the world so that you are discovered by the world.
That's beautiful. Now, here's something I want to hear from you. There's another way to think about DNA. What are the things that you do not advise for people to
I've never
do?
heard these before. This is great.
You're good. I was doing some research. Like, okay, what are the best ways I can put DNA into this? This is it. So do not advise. What are the things you're like, hey, speakers, I need you to know you do this equals destruction. What is the do not advise from Jack?
One of them is a little different than you'd expect is do not have a message that only addresses men or only addresses women or only addresses high school students. That's not wrong. It's just limiting.
Yeah.
If you want to be able to function at my level, you have to have a message that appeals to everybody. If they're breathing, you can help them. 21 years or older, I can help anybody because they can learn at that age. I can help anybody if they're breathing. It's kind of like the doctor. The doctor doesn't care what your skin color is, what your education is, or what your wallet is. He knows how to help you with your body, period. And so do I. When it comes to success in your life, especially as a speaker, I can help people achieve success in anything, like DNA of success in any area. But we're talking about DNA of success for speakers. You got to do the right things on a steady basis. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to reach the level of success that's there to be had or that I have had. And I'm qualified to teach you because I did it.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody
Let's go.
Brigham and tell him that you want to talk with me. And if he arranges a time for us to talk, I will show you how to do it. And you can become one of my clients.
I love that. Now, in your experience, what is the DNA of speaker success? Let's recap what we've talked about for a moment. What is this idea of the DNA of speaker success? Because I know you've got motivation as one of those things you talk about in a very unique way. But what is it for speakers specifically that makes you stand out in comparison to just success in other elements of life?
Number one, you got to have a message that appeals to everybody, that you're passionate about. You can't be, yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. And yeah, that doesn't cut it. You have to be passionate about your message and the information you want to take to the world and love helping people. That's a high priority. If you're just an actor on stage, you'll only go so far. You have to be real and passionate about your message.
Right. That's beautiful. You have to be real, have to be passionate. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about as well was success is about getting what you want. Significance is about wanting what you get. This is Dan Clark. I love his book, The Art of Significance. What is your thoughts on this? How does significance play into success?
Well, I use the scale of 1 to 100. 100 is what I call a core desire. On a scale from 1 to 100, 100 is things you want with all your heart. 50 on the scale is half-hearted. And everybody knows that half-hearted anything doesn't work. Half-hearted football player, basketball player, half-hearted marriage, a half-hearted anything doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
100 on a scale is significant. If it's 80 on the scale, you'll drive till you get to the 80. And the first time you run into a barrier, a brick wall that's 81 or higher, just like a dam stops water, you will stop because it's not significant enough to you. It's not important enough to you to get over that. So when you're at 100, there are no barriers that will stop you. They'll slow you down, but they cannot stop you. But if your desire is only 80 and the barrier is at 90, you will be stopped, just like a dam does water. But if the dam is at 80 and the water is at 81, it'll go over it. But if the water is at 100, like I call it core desires, if the water is 100 and anything below 99, the water is just going to go over it.
That's an excellent scale to visualize. I love that. One of the other elements I wanted to bring up, this is one of my favorite quotes about success by Earl Nightingale. It says, "Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal." What's your definition of success, and what is your thoughts on this specific quote?
Well, the qualitative word there is worthy ideal.
Mm,
What's worthy to me is not the same as what's worthy to someone else.
that's true.
So you have to find out what's worthy to you and go after it with all your heart. And I found out that 95% of the people don't know how to do that. I call them core desires. That's something that's worthy, a worthy ideal. If it's a core desire at 100, they're motivated from within to do whatever it takes, spend whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. They're going to make it happen in some time frame. It doesn't have to be in the first month or in the first year. In their life, they're going to make it happen. And if you're on the path towards your core desire, you're going to be a happy person.
Yeah.
And I promise you that you will achieve all the time, weekly and monthly, you will achieve high degrees of success on a regular basis because it's worthy to you. It's something you want with all your heart. It is a core desire. I like that phrase. It's a worthy ideal. By the way, Nightingale, he formed a company called Nightingale Conant.
Mm-hmm.
They took my audio program on about 15 years ago, and it became their #1 bestseller.
That's awesome.
Earl Nightingale was a major impact on the arena of success.
Mm-hmm.
And they embraced and took my material and marketed it. I have a whole folder on them where they put me on the cover of their magazine. They promoted me to, I don't know how many millions of people they have on their database, but my audio program became their #1 bestseller.
That's amazing.
That year.
That's so cool. Being able to leverage other people's audiences as well. That's one of the things that I love about speaking is you get to impact not just people that know you, but people that have brought you onto their stage, and you get in front of those audiences. Now you can make a deeper, more meaningful impact, and it's beautiful.
I remember a story like that. I was taken to Austin, Texas, and this is the woman that didn't have any money to pay me. Well, had $100, and I did go speak to her organization. And while I was there, I found out the kind of audience it was. Half of them were from Mexico. They didn't hardly speak very good English even. Anyway, she was helping that organization, and I was so glad to be able to help them too. When I was through speaking, people mill around and want to talk with me, and this man came up to me, and I'll never forget this. I'll try to say it like he did in his broken English. He says, "You know, Mr. Zufelt, you talk about family. I love my family. I have 3 boys. I never hug them. Until I hear you talk today, I'm going to start hugging my boys." I can't put a price tag on that.
No.
For $100, deal. I'll come and speak for free if I can help somebody start hugging their sons. So when you have a message that touches people's lives and you feel strongly about it, and you have stories like this that unfold in your life, you'll say, I want to do more of it.
Absolutely. That touched my heart for sure. This is one of those quotes that came to me because of what you said. No other success can compensate for failure in the home. When I was a missionary, we had these stickers that we put all over the place in Taiwan. And it had this quote, because all other success, if you don't have success in the home, they really don't amount to much. So for me, that's my values. That's what I care about. I want my family to be eternal. I don't want them to just have an okay existence. I want them to absolutely have an amazing experience. And being a speaker, one of the things I love about this is it gives you flexibility to be with family. Can you talk about the lifestyle of being a speaker and why your family is so important?
Well, family is the ultimate reason we do anything, but there are a lot of people out there that don't have good situations with their family and or don't even have a family. And I do not want to eliminate those people from their ability to be helped by me. The DNA of success applies to anybody, period. All they got to do is identify what they want in their life and apply what I teach, and they'll get it. I don't care what arena they're in, but family to me is also extremely important. So I want to teach people, and I do, in 6 areas of life: family, financial, social, education, spiritual, and that's the other one. I can't remember. Anyway, all areas of life you can be successful in at the same time.
Mm.
And I became really successful in finance and as an entrepreneur. And then I got to be a speaker, and I'm traveling the world speaking. And I realized that I was gone a lot. And I looked at my wife and my children, and they were doing great, but their dad wasn't around a lot. I mean, as much as he could or should have been. So I decided to work smarter, not harder, and decided that money wasn't going to control whether I was a speaker or not. I was going to speak when after I took care of my family, make sure that I wasn't gone 40 or 30 days a month, maybe a week a month.
Hmm.
Rarely. I remember one time when I went around the world, 2 weeks I was gone because it was a one-time deal. And I went to Australia, I went to New Zealand, I went to Thailand and Taiwan. I mean, I went everywhere, but it was a 2-week tour of speaking. And I wouldn't do that every month because I love my family too much.
Yeah. And I think that's where you come into designing your life and the thing that you want. And if you don't know what you want, then it's really hard to get it. Reminds me of that Cheshire Cat. Yeah, go ahead.
Knowing what you want is the DNA of success. If you don't know what you want, the DNA of success is not there.
For sure. Now, you brought up that Zig Ziglar was your mentor. I found a quote about success that I think was phenomenal. It says, success means doing the best we can with what we have. Success is doing, not the getting. In the trying, not the triumph. I mean, you've got so many different experiences with Zig Ziglar. What comes top of mind for you?
Zig Ziglar, but I take things he says and I tweak him a little bit. For example, that one right there says, in the trying, not the triumph. And I say, both. Because if you try your whole life but never achieve success, you're going to be an unhappy person. You deserve success as a result of the trying, not just spend your life trying. Like Yoda said, oh, I love that guy. Yoda, I have this little teeny Yoda guy. Can you see him?
Yeah, we can see him.
Do or do not. There is no try. So I like triumph. That means you won. Or you felt good about it. It was triumphant what you did or what you said. And while you're triumphing, you're going to be trying your whole life to be triumphant, and sometimes you're going to fail. Yeah. Such is life. But you're triumphant about never giving up. One of the most important people on this planet was a guy named Winston Churchill. He ran England for a long time, prime minister. And they say he gave his most impressive talk in the world. Now, he was a great speaker, but they said he got up in front of a worldwide organization, stood in front of the pulpit, didn't say anything for 2 whole minutes, and he just looked at the audience in silence, and they're getting really nervous, like, is he having a heart attack or what? And then he leaned into the microphone and he says, never give up. Another 2 minutes of silence. And he leans in the microphone and said, never give up. Another 2 minutes of silence. Leans in the microphone for the 3rd time and says, never give up. And he turns around and sits down. And they say that was the most impactful speeches ever given. And the only reason somebody like you and me, or anybody for that matter, if they're human, the only reason we will never give up is we want something bad enough. The DNA of success is wanting something so bad, on a scale from 1 to 100, it's 100, that you'll do whatever it takes. You'll stop doing the things that don't work, and you'll look for teachers and trainers and mentors like you, Brigham, and like me. You will go hunting for ways to make the success happen so that you can triumph in your life.
That's amazing. One of the things that you brought up a little bit earlier was this importance of like a force or a conquering force. So your conquering force is that internal powerhouse that transforms desire into unstoppable action and success. Can you talk about this conquering force? I think you have to have a true desire, that 100-level desire, that core desire that's so white hot burning that you're willing to do anything to make sure that you can get it. It's within your ethics and your morals.
So what's your question?
Can you help us understand what this conquering force is? How do we develop and discover that core desire?
It's super easy. I love that question. It's already in you. You don't have to do anything. It's kind of like electricity's in the wall, but it does nothing until you plug the lamp into it. So here's the lamp or the plug in the wall, and you plug in a light, and the light will work. If you don't plug it in, you don't access that power that's there. Same with the conquering force. It's there, and you only access it, I love this phrase, by choice. That's how you unleash the conquering forces. You get to choose. You have agency. You choose to. And you choose to plug into that conquering force and unleash it. Or like the light bulb example, you plug it into the wall and get the electricity working for you, the conquering force working for you, and the light comes on. And people say, oh, I got that. And I look at them and I say, I know you do, but you've got a 20-watt light bulb. Let's get you a 100-watt light bulb. Plugging it into the wall is really important, but if you have a light bulb that's really little or low wattage, it's not the same as my light bulb, which is 120 watts. Let me show you how to function with a 120 light bulb. Same plug, same cord, different light bulb. And that's one of the things you're doing, Brigham, is you're helping people get a better view, a better light bulb so that they can shine brighter. And you're shining pretty bright, Brigham. I'm impressed. I've been blessed to shine too. Thank you, God. And shining is one thing, but if you're shining and staying broke and can't do it because you don't have the money, then you got to add something to your know-how. You got to do it smarter so that you can become financially free doing it.
That's a great point. You want to do it smarter so you can go harder. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to go and work smarter so I don't have to work harder. And I don't think that's as effective as I want to work as efficiently and effectively as I possibly can. I want to help as many people as possible. I'm willing to do hard work, but I want to work smart so that hard work actually creates a deeper impact.
Yeah.
When you are marketing yourself, this was something that you brought up a little bit earlier. What is probably your biggest tip to make sure that you're reaching the right meeting planners and people that will be able to not only afford your message, but are your ideal clients?
Well, there's only one ideal client, only one, and that's people who are meeting planners. They come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, some for small groups and some for large. I did a seminar for the National Association of Secretaries. I didn't even know that association existed. So you would market to meeting planners and associations and companies. And when I spoke at that 300 women in the room, all secretaries, I was the only guy in the room, and I'm there teaching secretaries not how to be better secretaries, that's for sure, but how to have balance and success in all areas of their life. Why did they have me come and speak? Because I had a message. And so everybody is listening to you. You need to have a message that everybody wants to hear, male, female, young or old. If they're breathing, you can bless them and have ability to choose.
If they're breathing, you can bless them. I think that's such a fun way to say that. I found a quote from the DNA of Success. I'd love to get your idea on. It says, motivation is not the answer to success. It's the core desire that fuels unstoppable action. Do you want to break that quote down for us real quick?
Sure. Motivation is really important. And the only way you get true motivation is core desire. If you're not motivated, you don't have a core desire to do it. If you do have a core desire and you're motivated to do it, the only thing that's missing is the how. Motivation is not the answer, because I know a lot of people that motivated, then they seem so anxious and yet they don't know how, so they stay stuck. They're motivated to be successful, but they're not motivated to learn how to be successful. They're motivated to be good people, but they will not read how other good people did it. So being motivated isn't enough. What causes you to plug into the conquering force, which gives you unstoppable action, is something you want with all your heart, not half your heart, not 3/4 of your heart, not 90% of your heart, but all your heart. So you can be motivated for 50% of your heart or 80%, that's motivation, but it takes 100% motivation. And then how do you do it? Mentors. How do you do what you're saying you're motivated to do? Let's just see. Here's a good example. People love this story. I used to have a run a karate studio. I became a black belt in karate, and I had one student, 14-year-old kid that was really big. He was bigger than me, and he wanted to learn karate. So as I was teaching him how to fight somewhere down the road after I taught him a lot of stuff, he would spar. He would want to fight like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, Mark, you need to bring your elbow down to protect your ribs. And he said, okay, got it. And instantly he's back up. And I said, Mark, bring your elbow down. You're going to get kicked in the ribs. And he says, got it. And seconds, every time he goes ready to spar again, his elbow goes right back up. I taught him that 4 times. Put your elbow up, put your elbow up, put your elbow up. So guess what I did on the 4th one? I kicked him in the ribs. And he goes like this. Oh, I said, Mark, keep your elbow up so that doesn't happen. He goes, got it.
Got it.
And now he does this. He never put his elbow up again. Sometimes we learn from the school of hard knocks. That's not wrong. It's just there's a better way. Learn from somebody else who's done it, and don't make the mistake of keeping stuck in the way you do it, because your way has gotten you where you're at right now. And if that's not where you want to be, then you have to do something different. Duh.
Oh, that's beautiful. You got to change your behavior. Otherwise, the behavior that you've been using to this point will get the same or similar results.
Duh.
Excellent. Duh. You're going to get kicked in the ribs, man. You need to keep that elbow in. Wonderful. Now, as far as closing words, some of the things that you wish you had as a young speaker or a newer speaker, one of the things that I've seen great models of are speakers that create true transformation, not just momentary motivation. Would you mind talking about how you can create true transformation and lasting success rather than just the ooh-rah-rah, the motivational stuff that is here one day and then is completely gone by the end of the week?
Well, that question is the most important question of all, and that's a good one. And it goes right back to what is the DNA of all success? And it boils down to one thing: how bad do you want it? Mm-hmm. And if you don't want something very bad, you'll accomplish something and you'll feel good about it for a day or a week, and then it's gone. If, for example, every morning I tie my shoes. I'm a success. I tied both my shoes today. Rah! It doesn't last very long because it's such a small thing. And so now I tie my shoes and don't even think about it. Well, that's a silly example, but how about driving your car? Oh, I don't even think about it. I know how to drive a car. You don't even think about it because you're so good at being successful. Lots of things like that. And what I'm trying to teach the world is how to be successful like that. So you like driving a car or tying your shoelaces or fixing breakfast, that being successful is just a natural way of being. It has to do with this and this. This meaning my heart. Those two need to connect. Your brain can learn anything. Question is, what does it want to learn? Or what does the heart want to learn? I love the scripture in the Bible that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the brain can learn whatever the heart it takes to give the heart what it wants. This can learn. Question is, what do you want to learn? And a lot of people say, I don't know. Well, if you don't know for sure what you want to learn, it won't matter how good the teacher is or how many teachers are out there. And you'll flip from one teacher to the next to see if that's what you wanted to learn. And I say, well, that's crazy. That's not wrong. It's not bad, but it's not very efficient. So why don't you figure out what you want first, and then go find a teacher that will give it to you. And I repeat. And that is the DNA of success. Finding out what you want with all your heart, and then find a teacher, trainer that can give it to you. So all you people out there listening to this, if you want to truly be a highly successful speaker and trainer like I have become, contact Brigham and have him give you my contact information. And I'll teach you how to do it too.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jack. This has been absolutely phenomenal, transformative in lots of different ways. And just a quick recap, this framework, I think, is so impactful. Packaging, positioning, marketing, making sure that you understand not just how you show up, how other people perceive you, your third-party testimonials, all these different things, and marketing yourself. Absolutely phenomenal. If you missed a little portion of that, go back, watch this recording, come back to it, connect with the DNA of success. And wow, what an amazing episode. Thank you so much, Jack. Any final words before I sign off?
I do have one small final word, and this is
Okay.
testimonial I just recently found in my folder, and I thought I'd share it with you.
I love it.
This
Go
is
ahead.
the guy who built 2 Fortune 500 companies, and he came to my weekend retreat to learn what I know, and he says this: as a direct result of what you taught me, I returned home and immediately doubled my business. 1 year later, I'm doubling it again, all because of the time and information I learned from you. The time I spent with you and what I learned from you. So I'm absolutely convinced that if you have a message that can bless somebody's lives, not just men, not just women, but human beings, if you have that message and you want to speak about it, all you got to do is learn how to do what I learned to do. Get out there and share it with the world from stage, so thousands and thousands of people, and on shows like this with Brigham, so tens of thousands of people can find out about your message, because it will change their life. And if you're convinced of that and motivated from the heart to do so, Brigham's will show up in your life and you'll get your message out to the world. And I love this part, you can make a lot of money doing it.
It's
A lot.
excellent. Have a
Like,
lot of fun,
yeah,
make a lot of money, and help a lot of people.
$500,000, yes. $1 million a year, yes, on the condition you learn how. It's not if, it's how. Can you learn it? Yes. Do you want to learn it? Oh, that's yet to be determined. We'll see after how many people contact you, Brigham, and say, I want to learn how. That's when we'll know how serious you are. I'm
That's
looking at
beautiful.
you, potential customer, client. How serious are you? Because the Brighams of the world and the Jack Zufelts of the world exist to help you get there.
Beautiful. Well, Jack, thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. I'm so grateful for you. Guys, if you feel like you've got some stage fright that's holding you back, come grab my PDF. It's 3 reasons stage fright costs and why you must fix it. Definitely want to connect more with Jack. Reach out to me. Hit me up in a DM on Facebook. Happy to connect. And if I can just give my little endorsement to Jack as well, he's someone that knows what he's doing because he's got extreme amounts of experience. It's not just something that he heard about or read about. He has been there and done that for decades. And if you want to take decades and compress them into days, that's what mentorship is all about. Making sure that you have the right people at the right time so they can help you make the right decision. Anyway, thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I want to say thank you for being here, being who you are, setting the example. I had one quote I actually didn't get to share yet that I thought was really fun. This is an Oscar Wilde quote. Thought we'd leave you with a little smile, guys. With age comes wisdom, but sometimes age just comes alone. Not with this guy. Jack, absolutely. He's got wisdom, and he is someone that has taken wisdom from other people as well and brought it to our wonderful audience. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless, guys.
God bless you all. Bye.
God bless you.